Hey, honey.
Yes, Barry?
Let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin ti naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I am your host, Barry Kessler, and I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination. Maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. That music you're just listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto Perez is the owner of the La Palapa group of restaurants, and they are the La Palapa, the El Dorado restaurant, and at night for dinner, the El Dorado transforms into the Vista Grill. That was the Vista Grill that used to be up on the hill overlooking the city. And now it has a new Vista. It's right on the beach where you get the same Vista Grill menu, the fantastic Vista Grill service, and it's right there on the beach with a dramatic view of the Los Muertos Pier all lit up at night in just beautiful colors. Of course, at La Palapa, you can enjoy breakfast, lunch, or dinner with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's just so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. So today we have a pretty great show. But first, let's talk about what's happening in Puerto Vallarta this week, the 2nd of August, 2017. Well, I talked over the interwebs with listener Jeff the other day, and Jeff and his lovely wife Melody are back from a week in Puerto Vallarta, and we talked about what it's like vacationing in the July heat. So next week, it's going to be the Jeff from Colorado Springs, Colorado show right here on the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. So he'll be telling us all about what he did in July in the tropical weather in Vallarta. So stay tuned for that. Now, a few weeks back, we talked about the new Mexican requirements for traveling with pets, and those rules took effect at the beginning of the year, but they've already made some changes to those requirements. So just because Vallarta is such a pet-friendly place, we need to talk about this. So here's the new ones, and I got this info from a number of friends on the ground with pets in Vallarta. So the new requirements are like the old requirements, and I'll go over them with a couple of changes. So you're going to need to obtain a valid health certificate for your pet. You get that through your veterinarian. And in addition to the rabies vaccination certification, the vets also must certify or provide proof of 2 additional health conditions. The dog or cat needs to be free from internal parasites, that's worms and stuff, and must show that they've been treated within 2 weeks and not 2 months as before, actually before the date of travel. So, and then the other one is that the dog or cat needs to be free from external parasites like fleas and ticks and has been treated for these within 2 weeks of the date of travel and not 6 months, like I said before, as was the case when the new rules went into effect. So I have a link to all these new requirements in Spanish and in English, and for the travelers in Canada too. Now, the English one, the USDA one, unfortunately is not updated yet, but the Spanish one is. So, hey, check out your Spanish lingo. Anyway, I've got all those links. Check them out. Did you know that the town of Tequila is only 4 hours from Puerto Vallarta? Did you know that the town named after Mexico's favorite adult beverage is so close to Puerto Vallarta? Did you know that? That's right. Tequila, Mexico is a mere bus ride away from Puerto Vallarta. And if you got some time, you really should consider a day trip to the epicenter of the tequila distilling in the state of Jalisco. Now, here on the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show, we're familiar with raicilla, known here as Jalisco moonshine. We talked with JR, actually, in a previous episode all about raicilla, so you should listen to that one when you get a chance. And we also talked with Gabby a little bit from Gabby's restaurant, who has a relative who produces raicilla up in the hills above Vallarta. So we know our moonshine, but today we're going to be talking tequila, vitamin T, known by many as tequila. And believe me, it's almost killed me many a time. Also finally referred to as liquid panty remover. And yes, this spirit is the pride of the state of Jalisco, which is the home to our beloved Puerto Vallarta. Now, Puerto Vallarta has its share of tequila tasting locations. These tequila shops have sprung up all around town, and often you'll see that they sell cigars as well as tequila, and they sell all different flavors of tequila. In fact, you might want to be a little aware that these tequila shops, where the proprietor tries to, persuade you to come in for a free shot of tequila, well, he might also want to be selling you a timeshare. Just saying. That's for another show, but just be aware that if one of these guys starts asking you about how long you're going to be in town, the timeshare can't be too far behind, okay? Once again, we'll have that for another show. Now, where were we? Yes. Okay. So there are many opportunities for tequila tasting all over the Bahia de Banderas, but the town of Tequila is certainly within reach of Vallarta. So how do we get to Tequila from Vallarta? That sounds kind of funny, doesn't it? Okay, here's a couple ideas. You can take a bus to Tequila. Now, there's two very good bus lines that serve Puerto Vallarta. They're the Vallarta Plus line and the ETN line, where you can buy your ticket. Actually, the ETN line, you can actually buy your ticket online or even at an OXXO, believe it or not. Now, both these bus lines depart from the bus terminal, which is close to the airport. And these are really nice buses, folks. They're not chicken buses. They've got plush reclining seats. They've got internet. They've got individual TV screens for each seat, almost like you're flying in a plane, but much more comfortably. Lots of legroom. These are nice buses. And a round trip from Puerto Vallarta to Guadalajara averages about 1,000 pesos, or approximately $58 US. Now, there's no direct bus other than a special charter that will take you from Vallarta to Tequila. So you need to travel to Guadalajara first. And when you get to Guadalajara, the first station is on the outskirts of Guadalajara. It's called the Zapopan station. And that's about a 4-hour bus ride from Puerto Vallarta. And then you transfer to any number of methods of getting from Guadalajara to Tequila, and then back to Guadalajara, and then, of course, back to Puerto Vallarta. Now, that could be the tequila bus. They've got lots of those. They've got taxi cabs. They've got Uber. These methods, they can cost you anywhere between $14 US round trip to about $30 round trip from that Zapopan bus station to Tequila and back. Now, there's also a tequila train, and there's many tours that are put on by different distilleries where you pay to take their fun bus from Guadalajara to Tequila. And this can be costly, sometimes like over $100, up to $200 on some of these. So be careful. Now, while you're in Tequila, you can go to different distilleries like the Jose Cuervo plant, the Salsa plant. There's about 7 others. There's lots of distilleries there. The town is really quaint. It's a lovely place to walk around, even spend the night if you want to, or if you need to, if you know what I mean. The other method would be to arrange a tour with Superior Tours in Puerto Vallarta. And they have a van or a bus. You got to get enough people to take this tour. And During the off season, they only have a couple of them a month. But when it's, season's in full swing, they have lots of these tours. And it's a pretty good deal, if you ask me, because this van will take you directly to Tequila and back with no unnecessary stops in Guadalajara. And by the way, that trip from the Guad to Tequila takes an additional hour. So you've got 4 hours to Guadalajara, another hour to Tequila. You got 5 hours of driving time. And if you were to take the Superior Tours method, you're going to cut 2 hours of driving time out of that, it seems to me. They start at 7 in the morning, and they return at around 7 in the evening. So it's a 12-hour tour, okay? But its cost is $125 each. And their tour description goes like this. It says, this tour is for the tequila experts, or the tequila experts to be, only. As during this tour, you will see the real process. Unlike the many small tequila factories in Puerto Vallarta area, this is a visit to a real distillery, the Tequila Cofradía Distillery in the town of Tequila, Jalisco. They also have a 3-day package, by the way, which looks pretty interesting. I was looking it over. It goes to Guadalajara, Tequila, Tlaquepaque, and Tonala, and it's only like $249 each. So that sounds like a bargain. Anyway, I have links to all this information in the show notes in this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show, so check it out. So, what is a shot of tequila? Well, a single shot of tequila is often served with salt and a slice of lime, and this is called tequila cruda, and it's sometimes referred to as training wheels. You know it as lip, sip, suck, or lick, shoot, suck, referring to the order in which we consume the said shot. Now, we lick our hand between our thumb and our forefinger, we sprinkle salt in that there valley created by the finger and the thumb, and then we lick the salt from the said valley, quickly down the spirit, and then bite and suck this slice of lime. So why do we take a lick of salt followed by that shot and then that suck on the lime? Well, it's because the salt and the lime are no more than a mask for drinking crap, okay? For drinking cheap, sharp-tasting cruda tequila. So just remember, if you're drinking the cheap stuff, by all means, shoot away. Lick, shoot, and suck. But if you're drinking the expensive stuff, don't look like an uninformed gringo or gringa, my friends. Sip it. Sip it, amigos. Now, to do a proper tequila body shot, first you got to make sure that your partner is completely naked, and then have them lie flat on the floor on their back. And then you... Oh, hey, wait a minute. This is a family show. Look it up yourselves, you perverts. Sheesh. I can't take you guys anywhere. All right. Let's get to this week's special guest, Maria Jose Zorrilla and the Belmar Hotel. Now, Maria Jose came up on my radar when I was interviewing Gary Thompson from the Galeria Pacifico in downtown Puerto Vallarta. Now, Gary does the free sculpture tours on the Malecon every Tuesday morning during the busy seasons. And if you want to see or listen to that podcast that I did with Gary, it's early in the podcast. I don't know what episode, but you can check it out. Anyway, at the end of the tour, he asks for donations to go towards his favorite charity, and that's the library Los Mangos. And he said that he and Maria do a live auction together once a year at an event there. And he does it in English, and then she does it in Spanish. So I knew that one day our paths would cross. And when I was getting ready to do my economy hotel podcast, I realized that Maria was the owner of the Belmar Hotel. Well, that gave me a chance to actually get a 2-for-1 in here. A chance to learn about the Belmar Hotel, which I always thought was a beautiful hotel. but better still, to learn about this lady and the things that she does in Puerto Vallarta. So let's go to the beautiful white building with the black railing, located just on the south side of the old Rio Quale Bridge in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and talk with Maria Jose Zorrilla, the owner of the Belmar Hotel. Today, I have the pleasure to be speaking with Maria Jose Zorrilla from the famous Belmar Hotel, right smack dab in the middle of Puerto Vallarta. Thank you so much, Maria, for allowing me to visit with you and talk to you today.
Oh, hello, Barry. This is really nice to have you here. It's a great surprise.
Yeah, well, I just, popped in. Oh, come on. Anyway, listen, if you don't mind, could you tell my listeners about yourself, please?
Well, I've been living in Vallarta for the last 34 years. So you can imagine I arrived when I was almost a kid. And I come from a family. My father was an intellectual, a historian from the Northeast. My mom was really fond of ecology when it was not popular. So I grew up in a nice atmosphere. I had the opportunity to educate myself in Europe and did my university in Monterrey, Mexico, worked in Mexico City for a few years, and then ended up here.
Wow.
So that's the history of my life in a very sort of short time.
Yeah, you encapsulated that pretty good. I could never do that. All right, so tell us, if you would, a little bit about the history of the Belmar Hotel.
Well, this is an interesting hotel because it was originally built by a leader of like the peasants. We call the ejidos. The ejido is a very particular ownership in Mexico. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he was a leader, and at that time they sort of divided Vallarta, and they say, well, this part is mine, this is yours. So the guy who built this was an important leader, Don Samuel Bernal, and who comes from a family well-known, traditional family. And he built this really, really strong, very, very thick walls, but had no idea about architecture. It was like in 1968, approximately. And I discovered it was well built because when we were going to buy it, a brother of mine, who just passed away, by the way, he was an architecture, and he came and took a look, and he said it's really well built. And then we decided to buy it, as a family investment. My mom wanted a really retreatment house, and we ended up with this thing. Anyway, so that was 34 years ago, and we've been always very much fond of art, antiques, culture in general. So I started buying paintings for my house, and there was a moment I decided to start decorating the Belmar. We've been changing it a lot, because it had very small windows and very wide corridors, and the rooms were smaller. So we did a little remodeling through the years. The first year we did the balconies of the inside rooms because they were like little jails, and now we have like balconies.
Yeah.
And people love it because you go out, and though it's small, you always, wherever you are in the hotel, you're always go look into an art piece.
Nice.
So it's a small room, but you have art all over the place because my house is full of art, and now the hotel is full of art.
Yeah.
I really love it.
Those are the things you love, and so you share those with the people that come and visit you. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah,
and, of course, art always brightens up people's lives. So.
Yeah, that's the idea, because it's a very sort of low-budget place, but normally has really bad decoration, and it's not nice. And here is different, so people are surprised. Say, oh, it's a good deal, and, it's happy rooms, and, nice bright colors, and original paintings or etchings, or, it's interesting.
Good. That's a great touch. Okay. Now, I hope that you'll allow me to tour some of your rooms, and actually we'll do that. And I'll put some pictures up on my website. You'll be able to find that at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. And I'll also put links to the Belmar as well. So tell us about the services and the accommodations. What do you provide to your clients?
Well, first thing too for us is very, very important to have, to please the client as much as possible, considering it's a low budget place. So we don't have the services like a 5-star hotel. Mm-hmm. People say, you are like a boutique hotel. I say, well, could be, but the boutique hotel has a lot of services we don't have. We don't have room service, we don't have restaurant, we don't have elevator. So what we have is a personal, sort of very familiar personal contact with our clients, and then everybody is very, very fun, very kind, very nice. We give them some advices what to do. We actually do sell some tours here. I mean, they are not the only ones. And there are some tours to go and visit the islands, or go to Jalapa, Mahahuitas, all these beautiful places, or do the zip lines that people love, and all that.
So zip lines, yeah.
So what kind of services? Well, it's a very clean hotel, and you feel like you are at family. You don't feel like you are a number in a big hotel, and you have your individuality here, which is very important, and is the touch of class with the art and the personal and very sort of nice human treat.
Good. So it's the human touch. It's the individual service, and that's a great thing. Now, what about internet? Is there internet?
We have internet, free internet all over the place, and we have a free computer here down for people. Normally, everybody has their iPads or iPhones, but anyway. If something happens to the signal, we have a good signal down here. Sometimes, it's tricky, though. We have quite pretty good Wi-Fi, and we have TV in the rooms, and we have 30 rooms, 2 big suites, the newest, which is they're really nice, but you have to climb up. We call them the hikers, because you have to climb up 88 steps.
We've counted them. Okay.
And but the thing is, we have a TV in all the rooms, and obviously personal individual bathrooms in each room, and some of them have kitchenettes.
Oh, good.
And the hikers are really nice because they have a nicer view, and they're like they have like a sort of private place up there. You will discover it when you see it.
Oh, good.
We have, and what else we have? Well, we have maid service every day, and. Most hotels tell you to leave at 11, and we give them until 1 p.m. So that's a plus.
A big bonus. That's a big bonus.
What else? Well, we can keep the luggage here, if they're plane or bus or whatever, leave later on.
Right.
And
it's just more personal touches.
Yeah, it's a more personal touch.
Yeah.
Without charge, we don't say you have to give us a tip or anything.
Wonderful. Cool. So now let's see here. What are the typical rates for a night's stay here?
Well, we have.
Now remember, you might be listening to this a little bit later. We're in the
summer,
the summertime here,
and
so the rates change.
The rates change according to high or low season. We just passed the high season, so now the rates are really much lower, and we have the 3 different kind of rates. We have the smaller room, which is the inside room with the balcony inside, and that's the cheapest, and we sometimes have a special promotion, but it's not reimbursable,
Right.
And it varies from I want to say in pesos, like 500 pesos, 550. Some of them have air conditioning, 4 of them don't have. The rest of the hotel, 28 have air conditioning, 4 don't have air conditioning. And people say, okay, I don't want it. I want to pay the lowest rate.
I want the lowest rate. I don't care.
That will be like 500 or 450 pesos,
right?
With the tax included.
All right. Then, so in dollars, you guys, that's going to be like around $25, $30, and similar in that area there.
$25 or 28, yeah. Then we have the other room, which is a little bigger with a balcony. And that's like normally like 50 or 100 pesos more. Which is like $5-6 more, and then we have another one with the kitchenette. They have it's much bigger, and they have a kitchenette.
Yeah,
and then that's a little more expensive, like 700 pesos. And then we have the hikers. Hikers are really nice. But you have to be well fit,
Yeah.
or you start building it up here.
You're not going to like it.
So but a lot of people, even people over 80 years old, when they go there, I say, "Oh, this is a good exercise."
Yeah.
Some people, stay. We have some clients that stay, for 1 month, and they love the place. They're brand new. They stay 2 more months, and now they just booked it for another 2 months for next year.
Oh, wow.
And they are like 80 or something.
Oh, my
Don't
gosh.
mention their names, otherwise
No.
they will hate me.
Yeah, they'll come and they'll find you.
So the rates go from 500 to 1,000 right now.
Okay.
And in the high season, they go from 700 to 1,800, depending on the season and the amount of people also. Normally 1 or 2 is more or less the same.
Mm-hmm.
But then if it's 3 people, then it's a bigger room. We charge like 150 pesos more, which is like $7, $8 more.
Yeah, very, very reasonable.
Yeah, that's for 3 or 4 people, so
Sure.
it goes. That's the range. More or
Okay.
less.
Yeah. So you can tell it's very, very it's extremely reasonable to stay here at the Belmar Hotel. All right. You were just talking about people that staying here for a month at a time. Obviously, this means that you have long-term rent rates too.
We don't actually encourage to have long terms with a very, very special price, because in the high season we have so much demand and in the rooms. But if they stay like these clients that have been for 6 or 7 years, and they pay for 2 or 3 months, we do give them some discount.
Okay. Well,
But
I don't
not
mean that. That's
much.
not okay. Good. So you're really not in the long-term business. You're in the regular.
Some people like to stay here because they feel at home. They celebrate their birthdays here. But sometimes I say, perhaps you will save money if you go to an apartment. But they don't want to be alone in an apartment. They feel that they become friends with the maid, they become friends with the manager, and it's like a family.
Yeah, it is.
So they don't feel. You don't have to worry to pay for the gas or the electricity or the maid to come and clean, and they might steal things here. My maids have been for 25 years. Nothing gets lost, so it's
good stuff.
Yeah, so
Excellent.
great stuff.
All right. So have you ever had any really famous people stay here?
Well, many
Or
years.
maybe just like kind of famous people?
Well,
or-
Mexicans, I had 2 important people that she was Rosamena. She just passed away. She was a Mexican actress, because next door there was Old Cine Bahia, and before that it was a theater.
Ah.
And they had some place here.
Uh-huh.
And
she needed a place to pass out.
So exactly, just to spend the night. There was an artist also from Chile. She was a friend of a friend called Mona Bell. She's a singer. These people are old now. I don't even know if she's still alive. Rosarito Rosamena is passed away a few years ago. And Gonzalo, he just passed away too. He came to have to perform a play here in Secatur, which is another little theater. This is the one here is closed down.
Yeah.
And there is another little theater, and we had this Gonzalo. I forgot his surname. I will remember in a minute.
We won't tell him.
Mexican actors, Americans or Canadians or foreign. I don't know. I had a bunch of guys. They're not very famous, but they were running on a bike for peace and all that. It was the ride to Rio from L.A. all the way to Rio de Janeiro for the Olympics.
Wow.
To talk about peace and So they were like 3 or 4 guys, and they were biking all the way from LA. It was down to Rio de Janeiro, and they spent a few days here, and we became friends. They have a website, the Ride to Rio, I think. So,
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Because it's not a very, very sort of expensive place, so you don't get these big stars.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But
I get
some
it. Well,
people come
sometimes
here
you never know.
Well, some people come here for 1 or 2 nights because they have like a Four Seasons hotel, but their flight was much earlier because it was less expensive.
Okay.
So they stay here 2 nights, and they say, well, it's fun to be here. It's nice. It's very low budget. And they enjoy downtown, because once you are down there in those very nice hotels, but you're far away from life.
Yeah, that's right. And so they went from like $40 a night to $1,500 a night over at the Four Seasons.
Yeah, I have had that kind of client.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, well, I'll bet you they were crying every night, thinking, I could be at the Belmar in the middle of everything, and here we are.
Yeah, here like a sort of a noisy sort of thing, and and you have all the restaurants, and everything is close by, and Well, it's a different kind of vacation. It depends what you're looking for. Or if you combine it, it's great.
So, okay, we're talking about all those things. What's the best thing about staying at the Belmar here in Puerto Vallarta?
Well, what I have found about people that over the years, they love the location. They love the location.
Yeah.
They love that everything is around. Whether you want to go to have a taco in a corner, right here there are many taco stands around, or you can go to a restaurant like Trio, which is just 3 blocks away, or you can go to Los Muertos, to the romantic area. For gay people, it's also very close to a lot of gay bars, a lot of galleries. So people that like that kind of life, this is just the perfect location.
Yeah, it sure is.
It is a perfect location.
You are totally centrally
Now, I have
involved
to
here.
say,
I mean, you are
it's
right
a little-
between the El Centro part and right on the romantic zone. I mean, you're in a great location
The
for
location is fantastic. I
Yeah.
have to say something because I always want to say it's a little noisy, the place, because it's a downtown hotel.
Yeah.
So people that are like very, very hard to sleep, and they really come from, I had a guy from Alaska, and he said, I'm sorry, my neighbor is like a deer 50 miles away, so this is not a place,
that. Yeah.
This is
So
for
if
people.
if you're used to like really really quiet, you're not going to get that because there's a busy street here.
You have to look for another location, and I rather have happy people. When I
Oh,
have
sure.
had that kind of thing, I reimburse their money and they say go look for something, even in our website. But people that love life, which is a lot of people because we have like a 90% occupancy, like that kind of life.
Yeah.
This is the place.
That's right.
Yeah,
And
so it's
and
very important.
there's things called earplugs that you can bring along too if you really need that. Okay?
Exactly.
All right. So, and I do every time I come into Mexico, I bring them because I never know. I never know where I'm going to stay, and sometimes I need them, and sometimes I don't. So just think about that, and you can check out different brands too. They work pretty good. Okay. All right. Now, let's move away from the hotel just for a minute. You are very civically minded. You involve yourself in many Puerto Vallarta charities. So, can you tell our listeners about how you give back to the community?
Yes. Well, one of my main focus since I arrived here has been culture in general. And I've been participating in the library, the public library, the last 19 years. The library is 20 years old, and I've been there just 1 year after it was founded, invited by the local historian, Carlos Munguia, who was a dear person and passed away, by the way. And then I took over when he died, and I was the president of the library for many years. And then I've been involved there. Now we have a new president because you have to change, and I was getting a little tired. And Gary Thompson has been a great support from Galeria Pacifico. He does these weekly art walks in sculpture tours on Tuesdays, and it's for free. But then at the end, he asks people to donate for the library. And he helped us also in the annual auction. He's one of our auctioneers, and he selects the artworks that should go for the live auction or stay in a fixed price room. And he's been just a great supporter to the library. And the library is one of my main charities. I also participate in another one, which is a place called OPC. That is not related to timeshare. It's a word playing with words. It's Oficina de Proyectos Culturales, Cultural Projects Office. And it's more focused into contemporary and art and ideas, which is half a block away from Gary's, by the way. It's a new place. It offers different kind of art and different kind of talks and expos, and we have also kids workshop for the kids on Saturdays. And it's very interesting. OPC, we're just opening next to OPC a place which is going to be like a library and a workshop for etchings, and I've been also very much involved with that in the last 3-4 years because we wanted to have actually a museum, but we ended up with that. We don't sell art. We just show it. And we bring, the curator and the director of the group is a very famous curator from LA. She's half Mexican, half American, but she has lived most of her life and educated in the United States. And she's very well related with the contemporary world. So we've been bringing from Mexico, from the United States, and from different parts, very, very interesting contemporary pieces of art and expos,
Wow, that's going to be that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, it's
So
OPC.
is it open yet?
It's open. I hope it's still open because we're going to have another show. And normally, they tear down walls and put up new things because it's a huge thing when they have another expo.
Yeah.
And I hope that you can still have this expo, which is very interesting. It's a collection of different artists from Jalisco, from a certain period of the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really interesting. I hope you could go and visit it. It's
Okay.
open. Today is Thursday in the afternoons from 5 to 8.
Okay.
If you have time, go.
Yeah,
It's half
sure.
a block away from Gary on the main Juarez corner.
Good.
I'm also involved in Vallarta Centro, which is more focusing in promoting downtown and the hotels, and the businesses down here. We've been doing a lot of campaigns and things to promote not only our hotels but also the downtown. I'm involved in another group which is more like a sort of an intellectual, is a Society of History, Geography and Statistics, but I am there for journalism. I write a column every week on Vallarta Opina, and
I've read it.
You've read it?
Yes, I have.
Well, I write it on
Yeah,
Sundays.
she writes it in Spanish, you guys, so look out.
Oh, well, that's great. I didn't know you read in Spanish. And I publish it on Mondays. Every Monday it's called Tercera Llamada, like in the theater, the last call, before you start. I'm involved in many others, and also clubs, like a touristic club is called Skol. And we get together once a month and we have great meals. But we also are helping now in the jail, women's jail.
Huh.
And there is one of our lady in our group that she's very enthusiastic. And she's, putting us together, getting money to paint the jail and all that. The hotels provide painting and things. And they do beauty contests. And I have to admit that I haven't been able to go. I started this program when I had family issues with a brother who was in coma for 4 months, and then my mom, and then he passed away. And so when all these programs started, I just help a little bit with money.
You said yes, and then.
But I haven't been to jail, I have to say. But I'm part of that group.
It's a good thing you haven't been to jail, okay? Let's just put it that way, Maria.
No, but visiting the.
I know.
But I participate in all these sort of things, though I haven't been there, because if someone reads and say, "Oh, she's never been there," Giovanna is the one who's done that. It's her idea.
Because that's one.
I like honesty, I'm very honest. I don't like to tell lies or say things that I don't do.
Well, we'll help them out because we'll put links to that group so that
Okay.
they'll get help.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty good. Any others that you piled on to your big long list because you have nothing else to do, right? So.
Yeah. Well, like on this Sunday, we are organizing the Altruism Festival. I was helping them. It's for many years. It's going to take place it's once a year. It helps supports 24 charities. The library is one of them, and it's organized by the Marriott and by the U.S. Consular. And that's I think it's going to be like the 11th or 9th edition. And for the first 7 years, I helped them, with the casting and all that for the shows. And they relieved me, thanks God.
Yeah.
I don't know if last time I didn't do very well my job. Anyway, but we support that because they help us. And you have to sell tickets. If, by the way, you're here, you should go. It's Sundays. It's only once a year. It's, all the restaurants, from the best restaurants in Vallarta go, hotels, restaurants, and it costs 400 pesos, and it's a lot of fun, and you have shows, and it's great. So.
And that's the Altruism Festival.
Altruism Festival,
Okay.
yeah. It's once a year, yeah. And there are many other societies that I'm involved. Another one, which is important, it's called Consejo para la Seguridad, la Transparencia y el Buen Gobierno, which is for transparency and security and good management in government. And we've been doing a lot of things. We have a very nice director, Juanita Delgado, which is really great. And she has been doing a fantastic job by asking the government to provide a lot of information, about insurance, security, how the city is in transparency, how they're spending the money, where is it going to. And we've been giving talks about that and the statistics we get from some big companies in Mexico, institutions more than companies, dedicated to do the transparency, like the IMCO, Instituto Mexicano de la Competitividad, and many other institutions that are now very worried for the transparency and all that.
See what's going on with the money.
Yeah.
Where's the money going?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, see, we ask the same thing in Los Angeles all the time. So it's like, it's the same. Governments are the same. You look at them and go, come on, really? What's going on here?
So, well, I've been involved in, various things, charities, related with culture, and charities related to touristic, like the Association of Hotels and this Skoll group. And then also the civic associations like Vallarta Centro and this Consejo de la Seguridad y Transparencia. So, and then the Society of History and Geography. So I always have meetings and things, my life is like a movie,
It's like
never
one
ending.
meeting after another meeting after another meeting.
So,
Yeah, all right, yeah, okay. Well, let's see. How can a visitor to Puerto Vallarta actually help? I mean, what can they do to help maybe a local charity in Vallarta?
Well, it depends. If they're staying for a longer time, it's a matter of, getting involved. There are many, many charities, Well, there's the library, there's the Down syndrome, there is, Pasitos de Luz, which is for people who have paralysis and all that, there are the orphanages, there are the house for the elderly. There are many ways to help in Vallarta, especially if you're staying like for longer stays. Now, there is a place here, there is an institution called the Friendship Club, where a lot of the Americans and Canadians get together, and then they get money. They do activities and they provide that money for other charities. And the Timeshare People has another association, which is Eagles. Eagle's Wings, that they do a great job, So it depends, what you want to get involved. There are a lot of needs. Red Cross, some universities also have programs, to provide some support. There are a lot of ecology groups. I'm also part of an ecology group that we're promoting a park to preserve a park around the mountains. So it depends, Now, if you are a very short stay, you can always donate money directly, to one of the associations, whatever you prefer. Local newspapers announce, charities and telephones and all that, like Banderas News or PV Mirror. Well, I don't know if you mind if I give all this information.
Not at all, no.
Lifestyles. A lot of magazines tell you what to do, and related with charities, these are the charities. So you can get involved in various ways.
Yeah.
The library is there. You go to the library and you can help there.
All right, what's the name of the library?
The library is Biblioteca Los Mangos, and we have a good selection of books also in English, like 5,000 or 6,000 books, and like 25,000 in Spanish. And we have a lot of volunteers, for the winter. There is always cataloging, or we have a reading program that is also very interesting, for the poorest people and poorest families. We have a lot of things going on in the library, so you can also support the library, which will be fantastic for me, But there are other charities, and as long as you support Vallarta, that's very good.
Very good. And if anybody's interested in doing that, I have links in my link page for different charities, including the library and a lot of those other charities that Maria was just talking about. Now, I've got a question for you that I ask many people who are locals here in Puerto Vallarta, and that is, what kind of advice would you give to a first-time visitor to Puerto Vallarta?
Well, I think the best way to visit, to get to know a place, is walk. I would suggest you start walking around, find out, through a map, information, what is there to see in Vallarta, and walk. I think I am a traveler myself, and whenever I go Prague or Rome or Paris, the best way to get to know a city is walking. Now, there are many tours, and I think it's important you take tours because, there are places that it's difficult to get away for the first time. There are more cheapest ways to go, like if you want to go to Jalapa, the locals will go to Boca, and then we take a panga, which is very nice. It's a little more adventure. But if it's the first time you come here, like getting in a bus and then getting off and not knowing about the panga, you can always buy a ticket and go to Marietas, or I suggest one of the trips is like a must. There are rhythms of the night, there are the Marietas, the Jalapa, different kinds of... That's something very, very interesting. In winter time, there is a friend of mine, I don't know if you know, Sescas is her name. She does a walking tour in the city. It's in English. If it's high season, like the sculptures tours with Gary, is a really nice way to get to know the sculptures in the Malecon, the history of the most important artists in the community. And those things are for free, I think first find out through internet, like in your web page, what is there to do in Vallarta, and walk. I think that's something. There are a lot of very nice places. I don't know if you've been to El Patio de mi Casa. I love that place, Sometimes visitors don't find it because it's difficult, but locals will love it, and sometimes tourists find it, and it's like a little...
It's like, wait a minute, it's too crowded in here.
Yeah, this is right inside the heart of the old town of Puerto Vallarta in the Gringo Gulch area, and the owner is a friend of mine, and she's also very involved in cultural events and very nice. And you have a feeling of Mexico at the same time you're listening to very nice music. Sometimes she's got jazz, sometimes she's got Spanish music or rock, or it's really I really love that place. So these are the little places you have to discover by walking.
And if you are walking, you want to download your maps from JR's website at vallartainfo.com. Just go to his map site there. They're beautiful maps. They're easy to follow, and they beat Google Maps, by the way. I mean, they're easy to follow. They're simple, really quite nice.
Can I give another idea? I think also this, if you don't like canopy, it doesn't matter, but it's a nice way to get to know the jungle in Vallarta, which is very interesting. It's one of the precious things. We not only have the ocean, but we have, so there are so many tours that, you don't take the actual zip lines, but you go there and, you can enjoy the restaurants there, and you can be surrounded by beautiful nature. And there are many, El Nogalito, Vallarta Adventures, many, forgot the names of them, the companies. But, I mean, it's a very nice. Every time I go myself, I've been here, it's like a surprise, and then you find this beautiful bluebird you hadn't seen. And
you see, so Marie even takes tours. Okay,
yeah,
so you guys look at that.
Yeah, it's sometimes, it's walking and take some tours, I would advise.
Okay, cool. All right, good. Well, this has been a great conversation. Tell us where my listeners can find the Belmar Hotel, and then maybe give us an idea as to how to contact it, find more about it.
Okay, well, we have a web page, and we are also in various other pages, like with John Russell's page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and we
You'll be on mine now too. You know that.
Oh yeah, also you'll be. So and also we are with the main big things, like the main OTAs, like Expedia and Best Day and all these huge giants of touristic.
Yes, you can find her. You just type in Belmar Hotel Puerto Vallarta in your favorite travel directory, and you will find it right
or directly go to our webpage. We have some promotions, or So now, where are we located? We are located exactly in between the old romantic zone and the downtown Vallarta, half a block from the river Quale, and 1 block from the Mercado del Quale, which is like the flea market. So you are in between the two main areas where life happens in Vallarta.
Yeah.
El Malecón, and the church, and the plaza, and there's the romantic zone, and the Los Muertos, which is the most famous beach here in town. And so we are within walking distance to everything. Gringo Gulch, which is also a very nice way to know the old houses where Elizabeth Taylor used to live. Now it's a very elegant restaurant and hotel. But that area is very nice to walk around and have an idea how Vallarta was like in the 50s, 60s, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
And you can walk everywhere. We're 3 blocks away from the beach, 5 blocks away from the Basilio Vadillo famous road, and the cafe streets, and the big places, and the gay places, and the no gays, and the open for everybody. And so Vallarta is fun for everybody. We have family restaurants, we have places especially for any kind of tastes, any kind of ages. And if you like biking, there are some biking tours on Wednesdays and Sundays. It depends what you're looking for, but Vallarta has it, most of it, has it all.
It does. Vallarta does have it all. That's why I tell everybody that listens to this show, gracias, Maria Jose Zorrilla, for joining me. Puerto Vallarta is very lucky to have you, and we are lucky to have you on our show. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for choosing us, and I'm going to show you the Belmar, so you have an idea what we have.
All right. Come on, stop in and see the Belmar Hotel.
Thank you.
Wow, Maria is one busy lady, isn't she? Well, she has some great ideas also for some of you people out there who want to do good and give back to Puerto Vallarta during your next stay. So I have links to those places, and I also have pictures of the Belmar Hotel. And, maybe consider staying there next time you're in Puerto Vallarta and need a nice, clean, economical place to stay that's right smack dab in the middle of town. Well, that should do it for today. I hope that you enjoyed hearing all about the Belmar Hotel in Puerto Vallarta and Maria Jose Zorrilla. What a lovely lady, and so sincere, and she just does so much for the city of Puerto Vallarta. Like I said, I have pictures of the Belmar Hotel, including photos of the rooms that we talked about, and I have links and numbers to contact and make reservations at the Belmar. I also have links to the charities that we talked about, and I included a link to the Puerto Vallarta charity page on JR's website at vallartainfo.com, and a lot of those charities are there as well, so check those out. Next week, stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta. And until then, remember that this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, then please, by all means, reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending us your message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com, that's JR's website, and reserve your tour through him, right from his website. Remember, this is a value-for-value proposition, my friends. His experience and his on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying, thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you were to use someone else. So just do it, really. And when you do take one of those tours, just email me about your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. And once again, if you like this podcast, please take the time and subscribe and give me a good review on iTunes if you would. That way we can get the word out to more and more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. So, thank you, Maria Jose Zorrilla from the Belmar Hotel, and thanks to all of you for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler signing off with a wish for all of you to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle.
encuentro en el
vemos,
pecho y en la paz.
amigos.
Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. Solo camino eterno por la playa, me encuentro junto al río cuando todo está en calma. Pronto cae la noche, brillas Puerto Vallarta.